From Washington, D.C. to the heart of America, welcome to Mark Alford's America. I'm freshman Congressman Mark Alford from Missouri, and I believe in America. I believe in you, and most importantly, I believe our greatest days are still ahead. You know, each week we take you behind the scenes to share the stories, the news, the legislation that impacts our lives, and we introduce you to the great individuals I have the honor of working with each and every day to help shape our great nation. One of those remarkable figures is Chairman and Congressman Glenn G.T. Thompson, Chairman of the Ag Committee. He's a lifelong resident of Howard, Pennsylvania, representing Pennsylvania's 15th District. With a career rooted in service and a legacy of dedication to his community, GT is a voice for rural America, a strong advocate for education, and a leader in healthcare reform. Today, GT serves as chairman of the House Committee on Ag, where he leads efforts to strengthen rural communities, support farmers, expands opportunities in agriculture, and he also co-chairs the Bipartisan Congressional Career and Technical Education Caucus, promoting pathways that prepare students for the workforce. He's back. We had him on at the very beginning when we started this podcast series, and he's back. We were in one of the hearing rooms for the Ag Committee on the third floor of Longworth House Office Building. Please welcome G.T. Thompson. Chair, good to have you back.
Hey, it is great to be with soon-to-be sophomore Congressman Mark Alford. Congratulations on your re-elect. And thank you for running again, and thank you for being, a great leader and a great communicator when it comes to America, not just your congressional district, quite frankly, but America's number one industry, which is agriculture.
That's right. I'm very proud to say, Missouri has 87,000 farms and the second most in the United States of America. We have to protect our producers. We have done that with a strong bipartisan farm bill that we reported out of committee.
Yeah.
When was that? April, May?
April.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said it couldn't be done, right?
And we did it.
We could never write a bill. We couldn't come to agreement, and we proved them wrong. They said we could never pass a bill. We proved them wrong. They said we'd never get Democrat support. We proved them wrong. And so I'm just real proud of you and all the farm team members that we have on the House Agriculture Committee.
Well, your leadership and also the staff on the committee is remarkable. This is not easy because you're dealing with a lot of money. The Farm Bill comes about every 5 years. We had to extend it last year. I think the American people, and in particular our farmers and producers listening right now, really want us to get this over the hump, out of the House, over to the Senate. Where do we stand?
Well, we need to get it done. Quite frankly, we are, in my estimates, and I've been around agriculture my whole life. And quite frankly, I've been a part of the Agriculture Committee now for 16 years. And as a former ranking member, now chair, we are in a farm food crisis, which is going to lead us into a national security crisis. When you think about where our farmers are, right now our farmers are meeting with their bankers, their lenders, and because they have to borrow a significant amount of money. There are some farmers that borrow more in a single year to raise a crop or a herd than what the average family borrows in a lifetime. And because of things that are out of their control, low commodity prices, high inflation, workforce issues, the list goes on and on and on, much of it imposed on by the Biden administration, the lenders are saying no. They've actually spent down the generational wealth of their farm. So we can change that. We can change that with some disaster relief up front. And then a great farm bill for the long term, intermediate and long term. And so where are we today? Unfortunately, we have not gotten to the House floor.
Although we've tried.
We have tried. We've tried significantly. I will say that even if we did get it there, and I'm not opposed to, obviously we need to get this done, but we've not had a good partner on the Senate side. The Senate Democrats and Senator Debbie Stabenow has not negotiated in good faith. She didn't have a bill.
She's leaving. She's leaving Congress. Yeah,
and she has not done a bill, and shows no evidence of really wanting to work together to get a bill done. But you know what? We need to do everything we can. If that means incorporating, working on some of the certainly Title I, Title 11.
Explain those.
Commodity title, where we've increased our investment in reference prices, which is really about market volatility. And it's providing a lot of commodities, not every commodity, but a lot of commodities with resources based on what they needed. Not maybe what they wanted, but we did this based on what each individual commodity needed. And and got a great response from all the commodity groups, actually. They agreed to this. We also, within that, we increasing the base acres, which is really good for not just new, young, beginning, or veteran farmers to be able to qualify for base acres, which would help them with funding and risk management. But also, those farmers have been farming for a lifetime that just never had acreage that qualified. And it's making sure that we're moving that. The dairy provisions that we have, the dairy margin coverage, there's things like that that we're going to have. The Congress will be faced with doing some disaster relief, improvements to crop insurance. If it takes putting those, making sure that we get those done by the end of the year, and then doing some type of an extension, unless the attitude really changes with the Senate Democrats, but I'm seeing no sign of it.
Well, we don't have that much time.
No, and we'll have a great partner in the 119th Congress and Senator John Boozman. So if we do the things that are really disaster-driven, or they're absolutely essential because of the issues, market volatility, disaster relief for our farmers now, I think that's a positive thing. That's a really important thing. And I think we can do it. We're starting those talks, and we're continuing those talks and discussions. The other things that we worked hard and put into this farm bill, we will get them done. We always planned on having to do an extension if we couldn't get Senate last for the move. But it doesn't mean we have to wait a year to get the rest of that farm bill done. Quite frankly, I think as soon as we're up and running and organized, and we got Chairman John Boozman, and we got President Donald Trump, and we've got
Chairman G.T. Thompson.
Thank you, and the majority in the House, which we have now. We're in a good place to get the rest of that done. I think that's all just coming together right now, and it's exciting. Would I love to have gotten the full 5-year farm bill done now, or quite frankly, any time in the past? Absolutely, but we just didn't have a partner on the Senate side, in the Senate majority, which is held by Democrats, that was really interested in doing the work.
So there are a lot of people listening right now who've never even stepped foot on a farm. They don't understand the importance of the farm bill. Just in basic terms, why is this so important to our food security and our national security?
Yeah, well, farm security is food security, and food security is national security. Hence the name of the bill the name that we picked for the legislation that we put forward in the committee and passed with bipartisan votes, and is getting a lot of bipartisan support right now. Now that the election's over, there really is. I mean, it is when you think about the rural economy. The farm bill is about the whole rural economy. It's about rural communities. It's not just the safety nets that we're talking about for the hardworking families to provide us food and fiber and fuel. This is about rural economic development. The farm bill makes investments. This is about rural broadband, high-speed digital rural broadband. This is about rural utilities. Communities that are small that don't have a critical mass to be able to pay in taxes for the things that they need to have. And when you look at the importance of rural America and what we provide, produce, manufacture, and grow and raise in rural America, I mean, that's just essential to the American economy. And if rural America fails, the entire country goes down. It really does. I mean, it will lead us, first of all, to food insecurity, and that's a slippery slope to national insecurity. But it goes beyond that. It's about economic security. It is about meeting the needs that are coming at us, like animal diseases, whether it's avian influenza. Yep.
Well, the Democrats,
not artificial intelligence.
No, not that.
I'm more of an RI guy, real intelligence guy. But
that would be nice.
Yeah.
The Democrats had complained even when we were debating this in committee back in April. We were taking away money from the food stamp program. The SNAP, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, makes up over 80% of the farm bill this year. We're actually adding on a little bit money to the program.
Oh, yeah. There's just significantly more of an investment, mostly because of the abuse by the Biden administration on how they followed the demands, the requirements of the 2018 Farm Bill. And I chaired the nutrition title at that point. And I put into that Farm Bill that that USDA would do a market basket update and analysis of the cost of food for families who are struggling in poverty. And quite frankly, Mark, the reason that it's 81. There's a couple of reasons it's 80% of the Farm Bill. Number one, it's the number of families are waking up in poverty in this country. I mean, the inflation has driven that number out. The families that are just not getting by.
And a lot of that because of Joe Biden.
Yeah,
and his war on fossil fuels.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Energy-led, but, it's all across his administration. And so I don't, I'm concerned about how much it is, but I'm concerned because it's the families American families that are suffering in this country. And we know we can do better because we did that under President Trump starting in 2016 until COVID blew the world up and our country up. I mean, we saw a reduction in the amount of SNAP people that needed financial assistance because people went back to work. They had jobs. Wages were growing. Unemployment was at a record low across all demographics. And so we know the pathway forward here. But the SNAP program, that's and the nutrition title is more than just the SNAP benefit.
It's job training.
Yeah, it's job training. So it's about workforce. It's a market for our farmers because there's not a calorie consumed stuff produced by a farm or ranch family someplace. It's about national security. It's a really important title. It's about our food banks and food pantries, which are mostly staffed by volunteers, great American citizens. The nutrition title is a very important part of the Farm Bill.
Hey, stay with us for Mark Alford's America. When we come back, we'll continue with Chairman G.T. Thompson of the Ag Committee. We're going to talk a little bit about the Trump administration. Where do we go from here as a conference, as a party, to help President Trump rebuild America, to make America First agenda the agenda for America? You're listening to Mark Alford's America. Stay with us. Welcome back to Mark Alford's America, where we bring you the stories of individuals making a difference in Washington and across the nation. Today, we're talking with Chairman G.T. Thompson of the Ag Committee, a dedicated public servant and a friend of mine. We are sitting, before we get to President Trump, we are sitting in one of the Ag Committee rooms, not the one we generally meet in, but on Thursdays.
That's right, the one we do a Bible study.
We come right here at this table, and we gather around for a very in-depth Bible study.
Yes, we do, and a great breakfast, by the way.
A good breakfast, but I come to be fed both physically and spiritually.
That's right. Proud to host that here. And it's bipartisan. It's important. These are tough jobs, right? And to build resilience, the best way to build resilience, in my mind, is really to deepen our studies of God's Word. How appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Agriculture Committee, God's creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it's a great Bible study.
I'm glad to be part of that group. Thanks for inviting me. My predecessor, Vicki Hartzler, was part of this group, and she said, hey, you got to join that group. Let's talk about this historic win for President Trump. I know you're friends with him. You know him. He's been to Pennsylvania several times, most notably when he was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. This is a historic moment. We have the White House, we have the Senate, and we have the U.S. House of Representatives. How important is it that we get it right for the American people?
No, it's extremely important that we get it right for the American people. This is especially given the current status of where we're at. The American families are suffering. I mean, when you look at energy costs that they can't afford, they're going to the grocery stores, and they're not. The average family isn't able to buy everything they put on their grocery list. They're making hard decisions when they get in that grocery store. The world is on fire. It's so dangerous. ISIS has raised its ugly head again. We've got North Korea and Iran and Russia and China. I mean, it is just the world's upside down, right? I mean, I think everybody remembers a time when we determined the difference between a boy and a girl based on biology.
You had the gender reveal when the baby came out, not 12 years later when they decided what gender they wanted.
Yeah, there's just so much. So it is really important. And it's exciting to have President Trump back because, House Republicans have been, and this was when he sort of came the first time, we were ready for a partner in the executive branch to help us help us pass and actually execute the things that we've been working on for years under President Obama. I mean, we had, whether it was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, whether it was reforms to career and technical education, advances using technology. I mean, we were, it's just hard when you don't have a willing partner in the executive branch. And you need willing partners in the Senate, too. And so the stars have aligned, and which means that, the hard work starts now. We have to be able to do this. We have to do this in a way that's fiscally responsible. We also have to make the right investments where we grow the economy, because you're never going to get ahead of this debt by just arbitrarily cutting spending. We need to tighten the belt. There's no doubt about it. But there's some things we need to do investments so we grow the economy. And changes in policy, like energy policy would be an example of that. I always believe investments in career and technical education are so helpful because it helps people get off of, when you restore rungs on the ladder of opportunity, it helps people to get off of the welfare rolls, to be able to get a great job and to be able to, to realize the American dream that you earn. Nobody hands it to you. You work hard, you earn it, you take risks, and so looking forward to turning a lot of lives around in this nation, working with President Trump.
At the time of this recording, we do not have a nominee for Ag Secretary. What do you want to see in the next Ag Secretary?
Someone who is willing to work with the legislative branch, not someone who's so I want somebody who understands the legislative branch. I think that's incredibly important. We've had 4 years of an ag secretary under President Biden who's just runs maverick, runs rogue, does things that I don't believe that there's authority to do, spends money, significant money, billions of dollars, and has not really come to Congress, come to the House Agriculture Committee, sit down. And so I want a secretary who wants to be a partner, not a dictator. And so I'm hoping that whoever President Trump chooses, that's his privilege of doing, he picks somebody that understands the importance of working with the legislative branch, that's both the House and the Senate, and is willing to be a partner in terms of communication, help us identify things that we should address legislatively, as opposed to really what is amounted to looks more like executive orders versus the way that constitutionally we're supposed to operate. That's it. And then I want somebody that truly understands that this country is in a farm and food crisis right now. And so we have to take action. We have to show leadership. As
you look forward to America in this next 4 years under President Trump and the responsibility that we have in the next 2 years in the 119th Congress, what's going through your mind? Are you optimistic about America?
I am, because I believe in a principle that I've witnessed throughout my entire life. The best predictor of future performance is past performance. And we have President Trump as back. And we know what we were able to accomplish. And our country was financially in such a great position. Individual citizens were doing so well. We were safer. The threats in the world were like they didn't exist. You didn't hear about Al-Qaeda. You didn't hear about ISIS. There's nothing wrong with putting America first. That's what we should do. We should be proud of that fact. We should all be very proud that we want to make America great again. That's called patriotism. To me, that's a definition of patriotism. And I challenge anybody to tell me what's wrong with patriotism. And so we know what he's done in the past, and I'm very proud of the House and the Senate. We worked hard in Pennsylvania. We've added two members to the Pennsylvania delegation. We went from 8 to 10, and we have David McCormick, who's going to serve in the United States Senate once the Democrats stop playing games, recounting votes. And so I'm really proud that I've got members like you to be able to work with. And we're going to do great things for this nation, to impact, just to make people's lives better, whether it's economically, whether it's safety, growing the economy, growing opportunity. And I think it's a very exciting time, Mark, to serve on behalf of the citizens.
And here we are. We have a front row seat.
We sure do.
And it's something we don't take lightly. It's a responsibility to the 750,000 people that we represent. And I like to say In my district, I represent 772,047 individuals. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, politically agnostic. We are here to work for you and to serve you here in Congress.
Amen. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Well, GT, God bless you, man.
All right.
Good man.
Mark,
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Until then, we'll meet again next week. Appreciate you being with us for Mark Alford's America. We'll be back next week with more inspiring stories from leaders across the country. Until then, remember, I believe in you. I believe that our best days are still ahead of us. And GT, I believe in America.